go. Hi everyone, I am so excited today because I've got yet another conscious parent here on the program, should we say. And as you know, I'm such a believer in conscious parenting, especially when it comes to feeding our children. So this amazing lady is from America and her name is Tammy, and we met actually in America at Dr. Shefali's Evolve events 2 years ago. And recently I shared a post on my Facebook fan page, and it's basically a video which says that why the fatty eater or the fussy eater is here to teach the parent where they are yet to grow in their own relationship to food. Because obviously you guys know me, I'm niche dietitian for children and parents. And Tammy commented on my post and said that she's struggling with her children and their eating habits. So I thought, what a wonderful way for you to share, you know, conscious parenting and eating and children in one session. So welcome, Tammy, and thank you for agreeing to this interview.
Thanks for having me. It's funny that you asked me because I forgot that I had commented on your post, and then when you reached out to me, I'm like, how does she know I'm struggling? It felt like good timing. Like I need to explore it a little bit more.
Yeah, so you know, it's a new area in the UK, conscious parenting, and I'm sharing it with my clients, and I think it's helpful to be able to guide them towards videos which explains things from a parent themselves, because as you know, conscious parenting can be a bit, you need to be careful how you know, you can't tell the parent that they need to grow in their own relationship with food. You need to approach conscious parenting mindfully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can make you defensive as a parent.
It can. So I really appreciate you coming on here. So you've got, do you want to share your story around your children? Well, first of all, we met in America, didn't we, 2 years ago?
We did. Yeah, we did. And so, yeah, we met at Dr. Shefali's Evolve conference in LA, and you went twice in a row, or you've gone 3 times. I've seen you twice, so we got to connect there. And I was led to conscious parenting from seeing Dr. Shefali on Oprah. I have 2 kids, and one came to us through adoption, and so she entered our family a little later when she was older, and so that brought some challenges. And so I was looking for help, and I stumbled upon Dr. Shefali on Oprah, and I started practicing her work and taking her courses, going to Evolve, reading her books, and it really, really changed our lives. And then I took one of her courses. Her and Susie Lula have a course around food and the issues that cause us, you know, struggles with our children. It was called the Conscious Cleanse. And so it was not only to be healthier ourselves, but also to look at the relationship with food and how that impacts how we pass that on to our kids. So I definitely, it opened my eyes a lot to maybe what drives my issues behind food, like control and, you know, all these things that we don't realize we're doing unless we stop and really pay attention to it. So that definitely really helped me. But that's how I was led to conscious parenting.
Amazing. Because for you guys out there who may not have heard about conscious parenting, I myself was blown away when I watched Dr. Shefali on YouTube, and I just had to fly to America to watch her, because it's all about how, you know, for you guys out there with children, if there's something that your children trigger in you, and especially when it comes to food, because the amount of parents I meet who get triggered around the dinner table, you know, when it comes to the children not eating this specific food or not eating that. And there's a lot of stress and drama around the dinner table. So from a conscious parenting point of view, we ask you to look at your own relationship with food, because essentially you are teaching your children unconsciously about your own relationship with food. Isn't that right, Tammy?
Yeah, it is. And in that class, we were asked to write a letter to food, and you also asked me to do that. So I have been thinking a lot about my relationship with food. And I realized that, you know, I grew up, as most of us, in a society that taught us that food is love, food is comfort, food is celebration. And so, you know, in my own family too, that's how we treated food. And no one was really overweight in my family, but I do know that when I was 11 and my dad passed away, my mom told me that my dad passed away by bringing me a bowl of ice cream and then kind of softening the blow while I ate the ice cream. And I don't say that to criticize my mom, because she did that out of love and thinking she was comforting me. And I really did feel very loved by her in that moment. But it did kind of, there's a consequence for every action. And it did kind of teach me, oh, when you get sad, go to external sources or substances to feed a hole or a void or a lack inside of us. So I saw that throughout my life. I was kind of a chubby kid. I was kind of teased in school. It wasn't a huge issue. I wasn't morbidly obese, but it was enough to give me some issues around food. And I was able to get a hold of my issues around food for myself personally. Like, I don't feel that I eat mindlessly anymore. But I thought I was done with food issues. But then when you have children, you know, things come up. So when I was pregnant, I was so obsessed with eating everything exactly right. I would want to eat the rainbow every day. So I'd ask my husband, like, print me out these little rainbows, and I'd bring them to work and write like cherries, grapes, you know, all these. I wanted to make sure I was doing everything correct. But then now looking back, I see that was control. You know, I was so nervous being an older mom, you know, I want to have the healthy baby. And then when my daughter was a baby and a toddler, she loved broccoli and carrots and everything. And it really took only one birthday party where she had cupcakes and ice cream and candy and cookies. And literally, I remember her looking at me in like her toddler energy vibe. And she communicated to me, like, why would I ever eat broccoli when I have this stuff? And it would just change everything. And then it became a battle of, I want to get healthy food into her. And then our other daughter, you know, came. We adopted her later in life. And so I have one child that eats a lot, that's her go-to, and another child that really doesn't even like food very much. And so I feel like it's charged. It's like I have this need to put healthy food in them, and then they kind of, you know, rebel against it. So now it does feel like a power struggle.
That's incredible. They're basically there to show you that you yet ought to heal that relationship to food. And it all comes from, as we were growing up, our subconscious mind was wide open, and we learned all these behaviors and all these beliefs from our parents. And when it comes to food, we are either told that when we do well at school, here's a muffin, but if you haven't done well at school, here's a muffin. So both negative and positive emotions are associated with food. And this is the problem. That's why emotional eating is such an epidemic in today's world, because we don't necessarily know how to talk about feelings. But conscious parenting is all about becoming in tune with ourselves, isn't it, Tammy? So
yeah.
So when you wrote that letter to food, what sort of things came up?
Maybe the dichotomy of food. It's like a frenemy, you know, it gives us, we have to have food or we'll die. It's nourishment, but it's also comfort. It's an escape. It's like everything. You got to find the sweet spot, because too much of it'll kill you. Not enough of it'll kill you. It's just this delicate balance. And I think writing the letter helped remind me that I have to look at the intentions behind why am I pushing this food on my kids? You know, like, I really realized that the control, the more I push, the more they're going to resist. So, and then we've kind of gotten into this new thing as they've gotten older, it's their lunches. Because I feel like at home we've gotten a little bit better. We got an Instapot that like changed, you know, our lives, and they're like making recipes going on YouTube and stuff. So that giving them, you know, control of making the food has helped, allowing them to be a part of it. But at school, they tell me that their lunches get judged. And they say, like, you give us all this healthy food, we're so embarrassed, people make fun of us. So then I cave, and that triggers my own like little inner child. I don't want them to get made fun of at school, so I give them Oreos. And then I'm like, wait, what am I doing? So the lunches were still a little out of control. Lunches.
Oh, lunches. I hear that a lot from parents. And I can understand, because, you know, you want to create a gourmet style lunch with the rainbow, but but not many people eat the rainbow. So, you know, and obviously children at that age want to fit in, don't they?
Yeah,
They
definitely.
want to fit in. That's the only thing they want to do. So as long at home, you can at least create the environment for them to eat healthily. And at school, I mean, it's a hard one, Tammy, isn't it? Because you don't just want to give them healthy foods if they're just gonna rebel towards that as well, aren't they? So it sounds like you found a bit of a leeway, a bit of a compromise.
Yeah, and I know logically that being too restrictive is going to have the reverse effect. So I know that, but the feelings still come up in me, wanting to control, being obsessed about getting all the nutrients in them. Yes.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? We have specific requirements for children and for adults. You know, you need this amount of vitamin C, you need this amount of protein per day. And that can also cause a lot of stress in both adults, and then it affects the children because we've given a strict recommendation. But I don't actually believe that. I believe in intuitive eating. So us listening to our body, because if we do so, it will actually tell us what we need more of and what we need less of. So not emotional eating, but intuitive eating. So I'm sure with your daughter growing up, I'm sure she had, you know, she knew when to stop, and she knew what she liked, and that was that. But then obviously we adults or parents, we have our own agenda. You know, we think they need to have a smoothie every day, but they may not. So they sort of lose that, they lose touch with their own intuition, unfortunately. But it can always come back, but it comes again from the parent practicing intuitive eating themselves, which then, you know, when you trust yourself, your children will then trust themselves. It's conscious parenting at the end of the day, isn't it, Tammy?
But what do we do about the lunches? What would you do?
With the lunches?
Like if they said, we want Oreos and we're getting made fun of, we're, you know, the weird kids with all the healthy food.
So that would definitely trigger me. I would get so angry because I am, you know, I'm a dietitian. It's all about healthy eating. But I think, you know, obviously being part of this, you know, conscious parenting and learning from Dr. Shefali, I think it's, I think I would also just accept my child's wishes to some degree. But and also try and teach them that, you know, you will never be able to fit in. There's always going to be people that are going to bully you, as Dr. Shefali mentions in her book. You know, when Maya comes home, I think she's wearing, is it yoga leggings? I can't remember the full story, but she was being bullied for something. And Dr. Shefali said to her, well, you know, no, not everyone's going to love you and not everyone's going to hate you. This is the real world. You know, people are always going to have something to say. So you need to just accept what's in your lunchbox. And to be honest, I think I would say something like that. But I don't have children yet. It's easy for me to say. You know,
So it's like saying, don't get your self-worth from the opinions of others. Like just allowing that to be an opportunity to teach them that value instead of caving like I did, just get the Oreos to please everybody and fit in.
Yes. Yeah. I probably would do that. But then I wouldn't make it super, super healthy because I myself, I'm not super, super healthy. I love Toblerone chocolate and you know, but 90% of the time I am healthy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect my children to eat, you know, healthy 100% of the time. So
yeah, I mean, they get chips and stuff. It's not super healthy, but it's enough to where they feel that they stand out. Or maybe they're just trying to work it. Maybe they're just like realizing if they say that they can get more candy. I don't know. You know, it's hard. You don't know.
They're so clever. They know how to play it, don't they?
Yeah. They're smart. And if they see, oh, I don't want you to feel bad, you know, that might be a little angle for them. But I don't know. I just know that I need to let go of, I think, the control and the charge around it and just say, hey, if they're not going to be healthy, they're not going to be healthy. But my feelings around it, I realize need to change. That's what I've been working on.
So do you feel since starting, because you are so dedicated to conscious parenting, do you
Well,
feel
I try. I believe in it, but practicing it's hard, but I do believe in it.
it's not perfect, is it, Tammy? We're triggered every day. Even me, although I don't have children, I'm triggered from everything and everyone every day. And that's why this journey is never going to end. But that's the beauty of it. But do you feel that things have improved since you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do feel that they've improved. And I realize, because my husband's done this work too, so it's nice having somebody who we can talk about it together and he gets it too. So, and it's a struggle for him too. He wants him to eat healthy, and it's, but at least he's not like undermining me or anything. We're on the same page when it comes to that. So we try to both have the same goal here and not allow it to be too charged.
Yeah. So are meal times less stressful and?
Yeah. They are. Our Instapot. It sounds like an infomercial for that, but that really helped us because it's so easy, and then they feel like it was their creation, so they're more likely to eat it if they can choose it. And then they have nice recipes that are like kid friendly, so it's still fun enough for them and tasty. But so that actually really helped us. And then the thing that I still struggle with is using food as a reward, because I know logically we're not supposed to do that. So then I started saying, okay, well, if you want a donut, then you have to drink this green juice drink. But then you were saying that's still using food as a reward. So it's hard because you don't want to associate food with comfort or celebration or that, just nutrition. Yes. But when you grow up in a world where that's done, it's hard to break that.
It's very hard because, I was taught at university to get children to eat vegetables, we need to create a reward chart. Mm-hmm. So every time they've ate their broccoli, they get a sticker. And, if that's just so wrong, because again, food is just food. Why do we put it on a pedestal and make it into this glorified thing? It's not a trophy, it's just a broccoli. So it is such a hard norm to break. It is really, really hard. And especially when you want them to have something healthy, it comes naturally to us to reward because we've seen it from our parents.
Yeah.
I remember it from my parents as well. And I even do it subconsciously now as well. I reward myself when I've done something good. But that's just, again, I'm just falling into this trap. So
what do you do when your kid's like, oh, I want a donut? Let's say you drive by a donut store. I want a donut. And you don't want him to have the donut. What do you do?
Well, I think that's when the parental no is everything, isn't it? Because if you say no and they start kicking off, but you don't really mean no, then you are going to give in, isn't it? So it's no being no, and it's yes being yes. So I think I would never say no to a donut all the time, but it depends on the moment. And it's hard to say, it's hard to answer that right now because I'm not sure, in what context, but it definitely wouldn't be used as a reward. But if if we drove past the donut shop and it was the right moment, then maybe yes. But if I didn't feel that it's the right thing, then I would say no. So it's all about owning the no and owning the yes, which Dr. Shefali has also taught us. And I actually always teach this to my clients because when their children don't want to eat something, they say no, but they don't mean it. And the child knows that it's not an authentic no. So they will, and because, children will win because they're so powerful. They know their power. They know their worth. So they will, some way or the other, convince mom or dad, and then they will get what they want. And that's because we adults, we like to please. We don't know how to say no from an authentic place. So it starts with us. It always starts with us. And look at you. You look amazing. You know how to say no to a donut, So you are, I feel you embody, what healthy nutrition and healthy living is. So it's funny that the universe is giving you children that are triggering that. it just shows you that it's not always about health and nutrition. It's healthy mind, body, soul, and it's not. Nothing is perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect diet.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I'm sure the universe will give the same to me, because I do get triggered when people don't like my food.
Yeah, I know, huh? When you cook it and it's like,
yeah. And I don't understand when people don't love food. I'm like, you don't love food? Like, what's wrong with you? And I see how crazy that is, right? And so essentially, you know, what you're saying here is that the environment with, you know, the food, the environment around food in your at home has eased, because you now know that you've been trying to control things, and you know that it's because they're not meeting your expectations. They're their own being, don't they? They know what they want and what they don't want.
Mm-hmm. And also, I think you say, oh, well, look at you, you have it under control. But I think there's always our little inner child. Like, I'll always feel like a little chubby girl inside. So it's still an issue, even if I've kind of mastered it. You know what I mean? So that's where I think when you have kids, all this stuff gets brought up again. You're like, wow, I didn't realize I was still like that. I thought I had mastered this. So that's why children bring up stuff and help us to grow.
They are our mirrors. So whatever your child out there is triggering in you is because these are unresolved issues, and we all have them, that we haven't worked on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's incredible when you recognize that and you work through that, because we all have this inner child, or the ego, should we say, that comes up and it roars. So do you talk to your inner child a lot? And I do. I talk to my inner child probably once or twice a week, because that's something I've learned from Dr. Shefali, and it's just amazing. She will come up because she gets triggered, and instead of reacting, I now talk to her. How do you, when you get triggered, what do you do?
I definitely recognize it. I don't know that I verbalize directly to her, but I do in my life. I talk to myself sometimes in the car and all that, and I'm like, oh, this is okay to talk. It sounds crazy, but it's okay to talk to yourself. But I mostly just kind of watch it. I think like when you meditate, you get still enough and quiet enough to really look at yourself and see. You have a moment of truth where you can't deny it, and then, you know, so, but it's really just the momentary reaction. It's those feelings of the fear that boil up. Like, I know logically everything what to do. It's just dealing with in the moment and being overwhelmed by your fear and reactions and all that. And that's the part that we're all trying to work on to get better at, is when those feelings come up in the moment, instead of reacting in fear or control, just to let it go, or to you move beyond it. So,
and that's why we meditate, right? Because then you become aware of these things, and that's why, you know, self-development, especially as a parent, I think it's just, I mean, I believe everyone should read The Awakened Family and Conscious Parent. And we don't get paid for saying this, by the way, but you know, it changed my life, and I'm not even a parent yet. You know, so it is really life-changing. I'm going to post everything underneath this video for you to look at. Now, Tammy, do you have anything you want to say to a parent out there who's really struggling at the dinner table, breakfast, lunch, dinner, it doesn't matter, food-related issues?
Yeah, I would say it's never about the food. It's never really about the food. It's always about a deeper issue, usually fear, control, lack, need. So to stop, you know, when you are getting into a power struggle, to stop and really analyze your own relationship with food. And I mean, even when you're out in public, you see a lot of really overweight people have overweight kids.
Yes.
You know, so you see that we do project our issues onto our kids. And so, yeah, I would just say to stop and look at what's really get to the root, instead of just focusing on the surface level of the food.
Thank you. Because this, I mean, since becoming part of this conscious parenting movement, I obviously have changed the way I work with people. And I used to look at the food diary. Oh, they're not getting enough iron. We need to make sure they get enough. But now I know it's not about the food, because the relationship that we have to food is like any other relationship, right? It's just a reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. So if you've got fear, anxiety, and control around food, it's deep within you. It's nothing to do with the food.
Yes.
And that is transformative, because now instead of me focusing on food and people go, oh, are we not going to talk about food? I said, no, we're not. But people see it because it's not about the food. Once you ease out and you look after yourself and you look at your own beliefs, you'll see that actually it had nothing to do with food. So that, I'm so pleased that you say that, Tammy, because I think that's what parents need to hear, because we focus so much on the outside, don't we? But not on the inside.
Yeah. And you see that it really is just a different drug of choice. We use food to fill our holes, and other people use drugs, alcohol, whatever, and it can graduate from food to alcohol. And I see a lot of people that maybe are overweight and then they judge alcoholics or judge drug addicts. It's like, it's really all the same thing. We're using an external substance to fill a hole, and they manifest in different ways, but the need, the void, the lack is kind of all the same.
Yes. And we all have it. We all have it, and we feel it in various ways. Thank you, Tammy. That is amazing. I hope whoever's watching this, I hope you got as much value as I did. And please like and share this video, give it a thumbs up. Tammy, do you have any page? Do you have anything you want to say to anyone that may want to hear more about conscious parenting? Do you do any blogging or anything like that?
No, I don't do any blogging. I would just direct them to Dr. Shefali, because that's where, she's
our teacher. She's our teacher, drshefali.com. And the conscious cleanse you did the conscious cleanse.
With Susie Lula and Dr. Shefali was excellent.
Amazing.
Excellent. And that's something I watch on a regular, because once you take the course, you get access to it for life. And so it's something that I kind of have to watch on a regular basis, because it's like working out a muscle. You get out of the habit and you need a recharge.
Amazing. Yeah. So Dr. Shefali's courses, I'm doing one. You're doing Year of Manifestation as well.
Yes.
Now together, and I'm going to do the Awakened Heart as well.
That's a great one.
It will change your life. There's no question about it. So, so thank you so much, Tammy, and thank you to everyone here. Bye.
Okay, bye.